behind closed doors. Hello. Today I'll share a story that will help you learn English in a fun and easy way. As you follow the characters and their journey, you'll discover new words and phrases that you can use in everyday conversations. Ready? Let's begin. It was a cold, rainy night in Ravenshade. Detective Ethan Graves sat alone in his office, drinking cold coffee. The streets outside were empty, with only the soft glow of streetlights. He had solved many cases before, but he never thought his next case would change his life. The door opened. A woman stepped inside. She was wet from the rain and looked afraid. "My name is Lena Carter," she said softly. "I need your help. Someone is watching me, and I think my fiancé is still alive." Ethan looked at her. "Your fiancé? He died in an accident a year ago," she said, breathing quickly. "But I keep getting letters in his handwriting, and last night I saw him outside my house." Ethan was silent. "Are you sure it was him?" Lena closed her eyes. "I don't know, but when I looked into his eyes, I felt something I haven't felt in a long time." She paused. "I felt him." Ethan studied her face. She wasn't just scared, she was sad. "I'll help you," he said. Lena smiled, but her eyes were still full of worry. Later that night, after their conversation, Ethan drove Lena home. The rain had not stopped, and the streets were empty. As they reached her apartment, she looked at him with a worried expression. "Are you okay?" Ethan asked. Lena nodded, but her face was tense. "I'll be fine. I can't sleep with all this happening." Ethan could see the fear in her eyes. He wanted to help more. "You shouldn't be alone tonight. I'll stay with you just in case." Lena hesitated, but then nodded. "Thank you. I'm just scared." Ethan followed her inside. He sat on the couch as Lena prepared some tea. The room was quiet except for the sound of rain outside. Lena looked at him, her voice barely a whisper. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring all this to you." Ethan shook his head. "You didn't. I'm here because I want to help." They both stayed up late, talking. Slowly, Lena began to relax, feeling safer with Ethan there. When she finally went to sleep, Ethan stayed awake, sitting on the couch, watching over her. The next morning, the rain had stopped. Lena thanked Ethan, feeling a little better after a night of peace. In the following days, Ethan spent more time with Lena. They talked and became closer. Lena started to trust him more and told him her fears. She felt less afraid with Ethan around. One afternoon in the office, Lena and Ethan both reached for the same folder at the same time. "Oops, sorry," Ethan said, smiling. "It's okay," Lena replied. Then, as they both stood up, their feet tangled, and they fell to the floor. They both stared at each other for a moment and then started laughing. "This is embarrassing," Lena said, trying to sit up. "Not how I thought today would go," Ethan said with a smile. Lena laughed again. She stood up and held out her hand. "Are you okay?" Ethan took her hand. When their fingers touched, he felt something warm inside. It was a small feeling, but it made him think about her in a new way. The investigation continued, and they found a tape in an old cabin. When they played it, Daniel's voice came through softly. "If you're hearing this, it means they got to me. But I'm not dead. Not yet. Lena, I love you. Find me before it's too late." Ethan listened carefully and heard a faint beeping sound, like a heart monitor. "It's a hospital," he said. "It sounds like an old hospital." Lena's eyes opened wide. "St. Mary's. Daniel talked about it." They rushed to the old hospital. Inside, it was cold and quiet. Then they heard a weak voice. "Lena." Lena ran toward the sound. In a dark room, Daniel lay on a bed, weak but alive. His eyes brightened when he saw her. "Lena," he whispered. She ran to him, hugging him tightly. "Daniel," she cried, feeling relief and happiness. Ethan looked away, feeling a sharp pain in his chest. "How did you find me?" Daniel asked. Lena looked at him. "I never stopped looking for you." Daniel smiled. "I knew you wouldn't." Then they heard footsteps. The people who had kept Daniel locked away were coming. Ethan grabbed his gun. "We need to go, now." Gunshots rang in the air as they ran. Ethan protected Lena and Daniel. They barely escaped. The hospital burned behind them. They found an old building to hide in. As Lena and Ethan and Daniel hid in the old building, the air felt tense. Lena took a deep breath and looked at Ethan. Ethan, who took Daniel? Why? She asked, her voice shaking. Ethan looked at Daniel, who was still weak. Then Daniel spoke quietly. They took me because I found something. A secret they didn't want anyone to know. Lena frowned. What secret? She asked quickly, her eyes fixed on Daniel. Daniel's voice was soft, but his words were serious. I saw a deal. People making money from bad things. They didn't want me to tell anyone. Ethan's hands tightened into fists. So they faked your death to stop you from talking, he said angrily. Lena shivered. Who are these people? Why would they do that? Daniel's eyes looked scared, but also a little hopeful. I don't know their names, but I know they'll do anything to keep their secret safe. They were ready to kill me to hide it. Ethan glanced around. We can't stay here. We need to leave now. Lena and Daniel agreed, and they quickly left the old building. Ethan led them to a safe cabin in the woods where they could hide and plan their next move. We'll stay here for now, Ethan said, locking the door. But we can't stay forever. Lena and Daniel nodded, relieved to be safe for the moment. The three of them stayed in the cabin for a few days, resting and talking. But as Lena focused all her attention on Daniel, checking his wounds and comforting him, Ethan felt a heavy knot tighten in his chest. Each time Lena spoke softly to Daniel, her voice full of care and concern, Ethan couldn't help but feel the weight of his own feelings. His heart ached, knowing that she was giving Daniel what he had longed for, her attention, her warmth. He wanted to be the one to make her smile, to feel her care. But it was Daniel who needed it now. It hurt more than he could admit. Ethan tried to hide his feelings, keeping watch, making sure no one found them, but the pain inside him grew each day. Lena and Daniel slowly started to feel safer, but they knew they couldn't stay there forever. The next morning they left the cabin and returned to their own places. Before they separated, Lena took a deep breath and looked at Ethan. I don't know what to say, Ethan. I didn't mean to hurt you. Ethan met her gaze, his voice softer than ever. It's not about what you meant, Lena. It's about what matters now, and that's you being safe. Lena's eyes filled with gratitude. Thank you, Ethan. I don't know what will happen, but I'm glad you're in my life. Ethan smiled gently, though the weight in his heart still remained. You'll be okay, Lena. And no matter where life takes us, I'll always want the best for you. After that, Lena and Ethan didn't talk again for a while. She focused on Daniel, and Ethan stayed back, giving her space. Lena knew Ethan cared, but her heart was still with Daniel. She often thought about their last conversation, but they didn't talk again. Days passed, and life moved on. Both of them quietly accepted the new paths they had to take, apart for now. Lena knew Ethan cared, but she couldn't deny that her heart was still tied to Daniel. She often thought about their last conversation, but they didn't meet again. Daniel was free. He was getting better, but Lena felt something was different. She started to notice little things about Ethan that she hadn't before. When he was around, she felt calm, even without him saying much. She found herself thinking about him more, remembering how he always knew the right words to make her feel better. Sometimes, when she was with Daniel, her mind would wander to Ethan. She thought about the times he had simply sat next to her when she was sad, not trying to fix things, but just being there. Why did that mean so much to me, she thought. When she was with Daniel, she started to notice how much Ethan had done for her. He always seemed to know what she needed, even when she didn't ask. Why does he make me feel so safe, she wondered. Maybe I've been missing something. Lena didn't realize when it started, but the more time she spent with Ethan, the more she realized how important he had become to her. She couldn't ignore it anymore. She tried to focus on Daniel, but Ethan's kindness and care kept coming back to her. One night, Lena sat by the window looking at the city lights. She asked herself, "Are you okay?" I should be happy. Daniel is back. I should feel complete. But why do I feel empty? The next morning, Lena sat with Daniel, her heart heavy with the confusion of her feelings. She didn't want to face the truth, but it was becoming harder to ignore. I don't know what's happening to me, Daniel, she said, her voice trembling. I still love you, I do. But in something's different. I don't know what I feel anymore. Daniel noticed the way her eyes seemed to look past him, as if she were somewhere else, thinking about something else. He knew her too well, and he could see it in her eyes. Lena, he said softly, I can see it in your eyes. You care about Ethan, don't you? Lena looked away, her heart racing. She wanted to deny it, but the truth was there, in the pit of her stomach. No, Daniel, she whispered. I love you. You're the one I want to be with. Daniel reached out and gently touched her hand, his eyes full of understanding. Lena, I can see the way you look at him. You're not fooling anyone, least of all yourself. Tears welled up in her eyes. She didn't want to admit it, but she could feel the truth bubbling to the surface. I don't want to hurt you, Daniel. I don't know what to do. You won't hurt me, Lena, Daniel said, his voice calm but firm. I want you to be happy. And if your heart is telling you something, you have to listen to it. Lena shook her head, struggling with the emotions inside her. But I love you. And I'll always love you, Daniel said gently. But love isn't just about who's been there for you in the past. It's about who stays, who stands by your side when things get hard. If Ethan is that person for you, then you have to go to him. Lena felt the weight of his words, and a small part of her knew he was right. But it was so hard to let go of what she had with Daniel. She wanted to deny it, to stay in the comfort of what she knew, but deep down she knew what her heart was telling her. Daniel smiled softly, though there was a sadness in his eyes. It's okay, Lena. I want you to be happy. Go to him and know that I'll always love you. Lena sat nervously, staring at her phone. Daniel had asked her to call Ethan, but she didn't know what to say. Her heart was confused. She loved Daniel, but she was starting to feel something for Ethan too. She hesitated, but finally dialed Ethan's number. She waited, but Ethan didn't answer. After a few rings, the voicemail came on. She left a quick message. Hey Ethan, it's Lena. I just wanted to talk. A few minutes later, Ethan called back. Lena, he said, is everything okay? I'm at the airport. I'm leaving for a while on a business trip. Lena felt a bit upset. I didn't know you were leaving, she said softly. I wanted to talk to you. Ethan was concerned. What's wrong? You sound upset. Lena tried to calm down. I'm fine. I didn't want to bother you. I know you're busy. Ethan's voice was warm. Don't worry. I'm still at the airport for a little while. If you want to talk, I'm here. Lena's heart raced. She hadn't known he was at the airport, and now she had a chance to see him before he left. Can I meet you there? She asked quickly. Ethan agreed, and Lena rushed to the airport. She felt nervous and unsure of what to say to him. When she reached the airport, she saw Ethan by the gate. He looked the same, but something about him seemed different. Lena, Ethan said when he saw her, his face lighting up. I didn't think you'd come. Lena smiled nervously. I wasn't sure I could. But I needed to see you before you left. Ethan smiled back. I'm glad you came. Lena took a deep breath. Ethan, I've been so confused. I still love Daniel, but when I think about who makes me feel safe, it's you. Ethan's eyes softened. Lena, I've been waiting for you to see that. I care about you so much. Tears filled Lena's eyes. She stepped closer to him. I'm sorry, Ethan. I didn't want to hurt anyone. But I can't ignore how I feel anymore. Ethan smiled gently. You don't need to apologize. I'm here for you, no matter what. Suddenly, Ethan's phone buzzed. He checked it and then looked at Lena. I was supposed to be on my flight by now, he said with a sad smile. But I think I missed it. Lena was surprised. Wait, you missed your flight? But you said you were leaving for a business trip. Ethan smiled a little. Well, the truth is, I wasn't going for a business trip. I was going to leave for good. I thought it would be easier to just go away and forget everything. But when you called, I realized I couldn't leave. I couldn't leave without seeing you one last time. Lena's eyes widened. You were going to leave for good? Yeah, Ethan admitted. I thought if I left, it would hurt less. But then you called, and I knew I couldn't go. I needed to stay. Lena laughed softly, wiping away a tear. You're crazy. You were going to leave without telling me. Ethan grinned sheepishly. I guess I thought it would be easier if I didn't say anything. But now I'm glad I stayed. I don't want to leave without you knowing how I feel. Lena smiled at him. So you missed your flight just to be with me? Ethan nodded. Yeah, I figured if I missed the flight, I'd at least have a chance to be with you. Lena laughed softly. You're unbelievable. Ethan looked at her with soft eyes, his voice quiet but sincere. I'm not going anywhere now. I'm staying right here with you. After the airport, Ethan took Lena back to the office where they first met. Lena smiled as she made coffee for both of them. As she walked toward Ethan, her foot slipped on the rug, and she fell right into his arms. They both tumbled to the floor. Lena ended up on top of him, and for a moment, they just looked at each other. This was their second time so close, and this time they both felt the warmth of the moment. Their faces were just inches apart, and they couldn't help but blush. This is becoming a habit, Ethan said with a soft laugh. Lena smiled shyly. I guess we're just meant to keep falling into each other. Ethan's eyes softened as he gently touched her back. Maybe it's the best way to get close. They both felt something special, a warmth that wasn't just from the fall. It was from being together like this. They helped each other up, still smiling, knowing that things were starting to feel just right between them. Ethan gently took her hand and pulled her into a warm hug for the first time, holding her softly as if he never wanted to let go. His voice was soft as he whispered, You don't have to be alone anymore. I'm here with you. Lena felt her heart calm, the heaviness leaving her. She whispered back, With you here, I feel safe. Everything feels okay. Thank you.